Good morning, America, Pittsburgh. This is 10 o'clock talks, and welcome into the show. Always happy to have you. Thanks for making us part of your day. This segment is called Waking Up with Michael. Hey, so listen, coming to you today in an upload, no live. Yeah, you know, it's the pushback. So, in war, as it comes in all ways, and it really does come in all ways, you know, we have to switch to other methods. So, yeah, no live here today. It's about 10:10. Very significant time for me. Very significant time for you. I hope I hope you'll share. Also, so you know, there are some 10 Never Before uploads now on YouTube in case you have missed any of mine. I know a lot of people do watch, learn, look, listen. And, you know, as I always say, it's your right to choose. Wow. So, okay, finally we're getting some clear skies in Pittsburgh. Not to last long. They're gonna cloak us, and then we're gonna have rains by 4 o'clock. Yeah, imagine that, huh? Yesterday wasn't too bad. A lot of mugginess. I don't know what your weather's like wherever you are, but I wish you a good day, and so forth, so on. So I was trying to put something together, you know, with Dave Glovin. Um, this thing just goes all over the place. Dave's a good guy, but Dave, in ways, I can't get into his head. I don't know what he's thinking. I'm not going to guarantee to anybody that this is ever going to happen. I can't no longer do that at this point. 100-minute messages a day, so I can't even concentrate to come to you guys live. And when it becomes a disruption over something that's as easy as let's turn this thing on and go live, I don't quite get it. Anyway, good guy, has groups out there just as we do here. Taking Back America is very large, very large. Keep that in mind. And we're out there in many ways. We try to give supports, although we're also, all the groups are being hammered right now. And I want to say this to everybody. This is significant. We have to be real careful about what we're going to post, especially because they are attacking the groups. They're attacking the voices, YouTube as well. Hey, you know, they got a job to do too, I guess. I don't know. And we have to keep a corrective balance, a political correctness, into a narrative that we try to preach. So as I use short terms and misguiding words and misleading statements, I think you'll understand where I'm at with things. But again, yeah, this is kind of interesting today. Today's conspiracy, in many ways, and I need you guys to help me out with this. You know, I've done a lot of things, you know, in my sit-downs on computers and so forth, and what I like and so forth. And I know all you guys do too. I got some real rock stars out there, warriors of the 10, and you are so appreciated. You know, I push for all of you. You know, I keep good thoughts for everybody. So I'm going to just do something here and get rid of this part of my screen. I want to bring something up that I'm going to utilize later so I can get this kick started off. I know you guys brought your coffee, right? This is Waking Up, Monday through Thursday. And we're going to try to keep coming to you at 9:50 as long as we don't hit any roadblocks. These roadblocks are, you know, they're never planned. They happen. So in ways, you're going to see this as an upload, okay? But I'm still live. I'm still alive. I'm here. This is the 10. I am Michael Anthony. Let's rock and roll with this a little bit. Okay, schools. I can't say this enough. I know schools are going to be getting out soon, they just got back in. I know the mask issues, the mandates, the political incorrectnesses of the educational system to be less white. Let's teach people not to like their own color skin. I want you parents to stay really hard in this, okay? I want you to fight this. I want you to go to these meetings. I mean, you need to do this for you, for your children, for your grandchildren, and more. Get out. Be involved. Let your voice be heard. And don't take their answer in any way as positivity to what they give you. Remember, you are the voice. These people work for us, no matter where they're at out there. It's your tax dollars, it's your school tax dollars, and more, and so on, and so on, and so forth, so forth. So stand tall, be brave, be brave. So yeah, part of that I had to get that out because it's getting crazy, and it is everywhere, more than what we're seeing by far, because we're limited to what we can see. If you have 1,000 friends, you'll be lucky to see 70 of them. 70. And I know this. I don't care if you reset, reformat, go off for a day, tell them you're leaving Facebook, and then it comes back, it re-registers. Well, for the first hour, you'll see your friends, and then all of a sudden there's a knockoff point. Bing, 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 bing. Suppression, 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 suppression. You're not seeing all these friends we have. We welcome them. I welcome them. They're my supporters. They're my strength. And I appreciate you guys. Know that you can find me out there on 10 O'Clock Talks or on my homepage on Facebook, Michael Anthony. There's a bunch of videos you can watch, catch up if you haven't, and try to support the best you can. We ask for nothing. It's nonprofit. It's all about you. It's all about free and freedom. We don't represent commercializing unless it's for our business, and we do that for free. We sponsor them in on a free platform. We charge nothing for it. I got some friends who are going away this weekend, and the daughter-in-law, they're going away. They're going to be partying their butts off. I think it's this weekend. I just want to say, Lindsay and Kimberly, I hope you guys have a safe trip. Okay, had to fit them in. I know you get that. And I know I have a lot of friends out there, too, who step in, watch, and I welcome. You guys, if I'm missing names today, it's because this is an upload. Just keep that in mind. So how do we live in America? Because, illegal immigration... according to AOC, she clearly says Americans should not come first. And this whole ordeal is how we live, is our fault, and what we did to the climate change. Okay, so let me get the political incorrectness to her statement here. She's an ass. Okay, she really is. She made some valid points. She even blamed some stuff on Obama and her last little narrative of her an interview that she did. But still a complete moron, senseless. She has her own ideas of things, and they just don't fit life. They don't fit life. But again, to blame us for this because how we have lived, and first off, how we have lived and how the mandates of the government work were the government's faults, not the people's faults. Don't push your narrative on the people. You want to push it? Do it like you did when you mentioned Obama's name. Keep the narrative there. All right? That'll show your true colors, your true sides. So that came from AOC. We did all this climate was us. I mean, let's face it. This world is in bad shape when it comes to pollutants and so forth. Our oceans are filthy. Yeah, are there issues that we can make better? Sure. But don't spray hundreds of thousands of tons of shit up in the air. Let it come down, infect and infest the grounds, our vegetation, our cattle raising, and our production and poultry and pork and whatnot, because it's not good. It is not good. So who really and what really is the problem with that? You think about that. I don't know. So Joe now, has a little bit of a narrative switch. He's erasing comments about the woman and his public new policies and the future of America. He has now said that, he calls them birthing peoples. He's addressing them as, the birthing peoples. Satanic bullshit that, of course, he's part of it. That's how I guess it fits. And that's part of the conspiracy today. This is going to be a little strange for some people. I really do stick to the politics and all the wrongs, but I want to try to fit a narrative into some things and why disclosure is so important right now. And I'm going to get into that shortly. And also try to just fit another narrative that's going around. And I'll just say this like this. Is it possible that Trump will stand high upon top of Mount Rushmore? Just throwing that out there. May he make an entrance? I mean, we know Biden couldn't get so much done in the military, but he was able to stop the fireworks. So my thought is, Trump would figure out a way to, embarrass him on that. So, you don't stop something that's kind of like an event of history and a place such as that. This is monumental there. Maybe he'll make a stand. Maybe he'll make some fireworks happen. Let's just see what happens there. Just throwing that out there. It's kind of a narrative swing. Hey, so check this out, though. This is old shit, okay, from the shit show and more. But leaks in the Floyd case are rising out, and a lot of jurors are kind of whispering to family members and stuff that they were kind of threatened in a way of a verdict. As we know, that makes sense, right? Maxine Waters coming out and whatnot, so forth. And if you really think about some of this, it's now being found out. And if you don't know about it, I'm going to tell you about it. All right, there is some things here that really went wrong. We know testimonies and suppressions were done. This was like an scapegoat mechanism. What was really going on here? Why did this all really take place? Well, let's just say this. Bills and pills. All right, we know about the counterfeiting, but now we're finding out about the pills. So, yeah, you have that. And whose district is this? Omar's. What are her interests and business interests? All the places that were burning down. Imagine that. Collect. Isn't it really weird? Yeah, Omar's property interests burning down. That's pretty weird. And I guess it was a narrative of where they wanted to go and how all these issues were. And much could have came out in these trials. I don't know. I'm just saying. There's some really credible people out there, some women. And, hey, women are really strong and brilliant. They're smart, intuitive. They go after information. And sometimes I get it shared to me. So just want to let you know that there's more than bills and pills involved. And it's Omar and it's Maxine Waters, and it's a much bigger picture. It's going to spill open. The guts are going to come out. I'm telling you, this is going to fall out. There's something more here. And this is some crazy shit here, but it's what's coming out. It's what we do know, and there's a lot of connections here. There's a lot of connections to what happened close by, right in the area. It's going to say a lot. I don't want to talk too much on it, but I gave you enough of a gist of what I found out. I need a little bit more clarity yet. But I just want you to know that there's more to this picture that meets the eye. And I do understand why the attorneys are doing what they're doing, and they're taking a narrative in a different direction for a new trial and so forth, and they're going to fight hard for that. And I don't know where exactly that all stands right now, but I know if something backfires, they have other narratives they can take, and they will probably put them in place. Because I think in this trial, once it does occur, gets out there, and happens, there's going to be a real swing of events here. Something's going to come out that they don't want out. But yeah, so anyway, I think one of the most important things are that, the people, the juries, made some significant promises too, as well as, threats to go along. Okay. And, these are, even though they're small, they're powerful, and they can show their power. They really can. It's a small group. But it's a large group globally. It's still a small group. And I'll read something that I wrote out on that. It might give you a little bit more clarity to where I'm going there. But, even as a 1%, you don't have many in numbers. Where strength are in numbers, and that's us. But they do have the power of the cash. They did. And I explained something yesterday, and that was a big, big fall. They trace things back into tunnels, people's homes, drugs, cars, jewelry, cash of all nominations from all countries and so forth into the millions. These were last push final efforts to pick up and clean up some of the efforts that have been going on. And don't think for a minute that that's not true, because it is. I try to give you honest gut feelings when I talk or when I share with you guys. And I think it's important that I do it. Again, remember, my mindset, what I think, what I put out, how I explain it to you, I think it's creative narrativism. Narrativism. Is that a word? Maybe it is. If not, I made it up. I should market it. Get paid for it. I mean, it's all about the isms, isn't it? In ways. And then you got this Alyssa Milano. Oh, yeah, unless she's a gorgeous little girl, yeah, beautiful, beautiful, hot chick, no doubt. Brainless when it comes to politics. I'm sorry. I've read some things, heard some things, and she is considering a run for 2024 Congress. I'll just say no to that, pass on. I'm not saying she's not capable. I'm saying what's coming out of her mouth doesn't seem that she's capable. Her as a body to walk up there and a face, yeah, of course, people can do that. We've had many faces there that did nothing. The bottom line is, though, her narrative does not agree with our America by far. It really doesn't. And let's face it, Hollywood and all this mumbo jumbo, we're talking disclosure, discovery, and narrative here. Just keep that in mind with me. Conspiracy. Food fighters, check this one out. They announce a performance, but they only want to do it for people who took the contaminant. So if you got that Franken shot, the jab and all that stuff, well, they'll perform for you. Okay? And let's not forget what they're doing. Cars, resort vacations, anything to push the narrative for you to take this contaminant, which we keep finding out more and more that it is. And I really do feel when President Trump was in there, there could have very possibly been some kind of miracle thing that was true. And in his last final moments and days and the movements that he had to make to create entrapment as part of a chess game of war, and I'm going to get into that more and tell you why I do get into that in a minute here. But, I mean, you get it, right? You get it. I hope you do. So they're giving all these free things out and essentials to people. And, hey, your life's going to become better if you do this for us. So they're going to try to care for these people here. And don't forget about the stimuluses. They're even letting people make comments to it, like 2.6 million so far, and I don't know if that's even a true factual number. They're saying, yes, we want $2,000 more. And there is word around the water coolers up there being talked and discussed. Nothing in writing on it yet, but some things have been narrated out and started to where they may make this pandemic benefit to some families. I don't know who all would be eligible for it as a monthly, like, Social Security benefit. So there's a possibility that that's going to happen. I don't know. Keep that in mind. I know that there are going to be things for families that they're going to start providing, what they call essential money through stimulus to help support families and so forth with the cost and risings of the inflation that's going on, to bring the lower income people into the stronger area of not so low income people, while everybody of working that's fighting falls into that shameful scenario. So, yeah, you get it. One up, one down, okay? Does it weigh out? I don't know. Let's see where it goes. To me, it's all bullshit, and that's the truth of the measure. Okay, why we're friends only in the state governments considered essentials. So, basically, I kind of slagged that out because I've been cut for it a few times by saying it. I don't know if it picks up something on the voice or the complexity in the voice or how the sentence is said. So I kind of like blah. Anyway, I think it's important for me to do it. So basically what I'm saying here is we all have friends. Well, so did the governor and all his constituents up there, and in your states and their political arena. Well, why were the essentials handpicked? Why were certain car dealerships allowed to be open? Why were certain events allowed to happen? Which even in Pennsylvania here, where I'm at right now, that reigns true. We've had that happen. We've had here just what I just said to you as an example, but we know that it's happened elsewhere. So, yeah, who are they to decide what was essentials? Even when they owned their own businesses and they were allowed to stay open, but in many ways, a lot of businesses weren't. So you get that fault. But, I mean, again, these are the fights that we're going after, and we're starting to win. We're starting to gain momentum, starting to gain strength, and I know in PA that's happening. I hope in your states it is. Keep on it. Ask these questions. You want answers. You deserve answers. Stay with them. All right, New York, millions of dollars now. Check this out. $234 million will be shared between 10,000 part-time people to clean up and repair the destruction of what we just went through in 2020 and into 2021. Yeah, and not only that, 25 million for new arts, murals, and more for certain people. they This is for only for certain people, and guess what? It could just be the protesters. The ones that destroyed and destructed will now be paid money to change New York City as you know it. The place that everybody wanted to go to celebrate New Year's is going to have a whole hell of a different look. Just you wait and see. But $234 million to 10,000 people, that's what it will undertake to just get this plan started. I'm sure they'll ask for more money. We know, what's his name, de Blasio and the other Como idiot and the narrative and what they did up there with all them millions of dollars and was supposed to benefit veterans and mental health care and just different programs and the multi-millions. And guess what? Oh, I don't know if multi, but it was up there high. I don't have the number in front of me. I did a little segment on it. You may remember it. I have so much stuff that goes in and out of my head, but we're talking giant dollars here. All disappeared. We're talking like everything they do is at a low 10 or less percent of the monies. The rest goes to their pockets, families' pockets, other organizations who then gives them kickbacks. It's a big circle of lies and bullshit and narratives of how to take money. And yet now they want to restart the program up, even though it totally flopped and failed. It did nothing. Talked about this just the other day too with you guys. And now they're asking for more money, a part of the stimulus. Hey, keep us in mind for this. We want to get this program going. They should have money spilling out of buckets right now where they could have got involved to actually help New York City revitalize itself. And that would have been an appropriate thing to do if they were hoarding money, okay? And didn't want to get their asses caught in a ringer, which they are caught in a ringer. These people are thieves, okay? They are totally thieves. That's exactly what they are. And they took money, and now they're somehow enabled to get their hands on $234 million for 10,000 part-time, as I said, and $25 million for the new arts programs, murals, and more, which again will be in support of the people that pretty much ripped it down. Okay, so there you have that. Mental health issues are on the rise, and the numbers are more incredibly higher in mental health than there is in any other avenue of all the COVID. Okay, so yeah, that's what the United States government and the people who voted for all this shit has put them and other people. So congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah. What shit? Anyway, so, yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to get big on that word, but it just seems to fit, Mental health. I mean, who would have thought? And I know it's true. I mean, I've been trying to help somebody through an issue right now on somewhat of a daily basis. Blames this all on it. And I keep saying, hey, come on, man, wake up. Okay? It's not there. And it doesn't have to be there if you walk away from it and you don't want to deal with it. Just deal. Get out in life. Keep going. Go get a tan. Sit in the sun if you're not working. Get your unemployment if you deserve it. And another big thing, too. There was a pretty big report here. And I was absolutely correct on this, on all the information that I got. This is for Pennsylvania people. And this is really important because this has been going on with 13, 14, 15 months. I don't know. I lost count now. To me, every day's Friday. Even though that's not true. But yeah, it's like, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Huh? You got to fit some kind of happiness somewhere. And that's my way of doing it. So anyway, I'll just say this to you on a short end of a stick. The best way, I guess, that I can would be to tell you guys, mental health is everything. And you need to basically stay strong, no matter what. Screw Facebook jail. Doesn't mean nothing, Stay strong as long as you can. Come back, fight again. That would be the method to the madness that will give us success. They are in small numbers, but with much power of money and evilness, okay? And that's the truth. We have a different type of light, happiness, joyfulness, have a beer, eat some apple pie, and some fried chicken kind of people. We want simplified, back to normalities. And they have a different plan. And again, this is confusing the hell out of people. It's putting them in a bad place. Don't let it do it to you. Don't let it do it to you. All right, so there's more big talks on these cyber attacks, and they're saying they got half the money recovered. I'm still thinking this is all bullshit. I think the meeting between Putin and all this, if it's really a Joe going there, I don't know what to expect out of this because honestly, Putin would chew him up and spit him out. You don't mess with Putin. I mean, in my mind, I've watched some of his history, some of his legacy, his leadership skills and whatnot. He's not really a man that wants an issue, but if you bring it to him, you can get your ass kicked, Joe. And he might just knock your ass out right there on stage, wherever you guys are. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Wouldn't that be a hoot? All right, I want to talk about this. I couldn't wait to actually get to this point. Losing train of thoughts as I'm going here with things. Sometimes I do that, and I just think, it's that, senior moment shit or whatever it all is. All right, I'm going to call this Trump's greatest walk. And this is where the narrative and conspiracies grow. And this greatest walk, if you remember this, and everybody's calling it a photo op, but that's truly not what it was. Trump leaves the White House. I think he goes through what they had called Lafayette Park, walks down through the pathway. This is somewhat staged, but not for any of the wrong ideologies of narrative. He went there for a reason. He went to a church. A little bit of an issue there. We know that. He has a Bible in his hand, whether it's his or whether it's the White House Bible. Some significance if it's in his hand, I would think. He holds it up to the world, and he gets his picture taken. And in that picture was a message. And this is what I wish more people would understand. This is when Trump knew that things, even though he was already fighting issues, in many ways, and already pushing back with much force and started other things, is when he called out them. And he held up the Bible to the world, and he said, this is my book. This is who I will kneel to. This is war. And he let them know right then and there in that point, all this 1%, the worst of the worst, or whoever they all are, above the 1%. And that's part of my narrative today. But keep in mind this. That was a message, not to us, although it served purpose to the American people. We stand with God, okay, and Jesus Christ. I get that. But more importantly, and how I know that this is true, that he sent this message, was shortly after General Milley made a comment and said, I apologize, I should have never been there. A general to the commander-in-chief with a statement like that showed his loyalty did not exist to the president, but to them. Key factor. It's a true fact. Look into these little things, you'll find them out. This is why conspiracy and narrative and opinions are so strong in my mind and my gut feeling. And this is why I talk about things the way I do. You like me, you love me, or you hate me, but it's always your choice. The point is that Bible went up and was held up for a purpose. It wasn't what we were led to believe. He had to send a message and let them know it was war. And war began in more ways than you would understand. And we're in the middle of it. We really are. We're in the middle of it. It's been happening. It's never stopped. And they know for a fact where he stood at that point. Because they gave him every ultimatum. They tried to buy him out. Riches beyond imaginabilities, protection for his family forever. And he had all that with his military and with you, your love, your support to him. He already made his money, figuring probably I could never spend it all, or would never utilize it all. And we know that just by the fact he donated all his money and earnings as a president to all really nice and good, proper places that you can give it, I mean, what would be the word? Donating to certain organizations and so forth. But I want you to think about that. Think about that path. Think about that walk. That will be known, in my mind, as Trump's greatest walk. And it is. And we found out right then and there in that day much of what we needed to know and what we were up against. And they don't talk about all these changes and powers at the head of the military and how they right now reflect on Trump. There's no conversation in the media about that. No change of guards anywhere, but they're happening. They're being removed. We know who they are. And Millie was one of them. I guarantee you that. Look into it. Follow it as close as you can. Trump's greatest walk. I hope you like that. But it's true. It was true. He called them out to war right then and there. All right. Where are we going here? A lot of different things. I'm going to get back to disclosure. Okay? Because disclosure to me is really important. And why we are at it. And this is an impressive moment in the world. Think about this, okay? The Pentagon's pushing this. Have we not asked for it as theorists and people with beliefs? Hey, I believe in ghosts. Yeah, I swear I saw something once. Those campfire stories, I brought that up before. But these things like that, or I saw a UFO, or I saw something up there. It was making really erratic movements, and planes don't do that. Well, you're right, they don't. Anything up there that could do anything like that, just wouldn't work. I mean, it wouldn't happen. It would be technology fed into a backdrop of a screen. That's the only way these things can occur, at least on our technology that we think we have. Okay. So the big conspiracy, where is it and where are we in it? Where are we now in it? Most important, what are the answers to this? Why am I going this way before I go any further? Because it says a lot about everything and what we're dealing with. It actually covers religion. It actually covers conspiracy, but also covers truth. Okay? And people did everything, including on their deathbed, testified to truth, even with affidavits, to let their stories be heard of what they knew. But why all this now? Because it really does tie into this other side. How does it tie in, and what's the parts of the satanic to the narrative of these issues? Well, I'm going to try to break it down a little bit and give you a little bit of insight. Conspiracy theorists, as I told you before, was a narrative through the CIA. We all know that. And another deep organization. But to keep the blindfolds on the people, who are these people? That's me, that's you, and it's many others out there with the need to know. You know that comment, the need to know. As they told presidents, they didn't always share. And Dr. Stephen Greer, who comes up a lot, he was somebody in the ufology format out here in America, in higher consciousness and more, who was going to the presidents, and he was actually the one, sitting down with them when they come into office and doing disclosure for them. So imagine that. And he's out there with many movies and different things now, and goes around, represents for the people the matter of the truth of all this. Does it exist? Sure, it exists. We know it exists. And we're being told now by the government that it does. But how does it tie in? What is the dark side? And that's the point of problem we don't quite get. Okay? Is it part of the problem? I believe it is. I believe it fits a narrative in there. But how to describe it to you would be very difficult, because I don't have all the correctness of it in my own mind yet to share it to you out. But it puts us in a place of question. And the place of question of where that is what negativities are we dealing with? Maybe not all, but the possibility of some. Let's continue. Okay. With this need to know, we try to represent the truth. We represent and try to express our knowledge. And they push, which we push, for our transparencies versus their negativity of transparencies, which is conspiracy theorists, which we now know they ate their own words on, right? All right. So, these creators of this dark side can no longer hide, even though they hide or keep trying to. The karma came out and bit them in their own asses. Why and how? The internet. All playing parts to it. They develop it, and they wonder why we all know about this now. They never expected that to happen. The full purpose of us and knowledge and enlightenment, higher conscience, more. Look where it's brought us. They didn't expect that large of a format of a step to ever occur to backfire in their faces, but it has. And we know the 1%, the dark side, the deep state, who's been talked about by Truman, Eisenhower, President Reagan, John F. Kennedy, and Trump. Just saying. Just saying. So here, this stuff now is all bit them in the ass, and they're going to come forth. So how does this fit? Well, it fits in many different ways. You get these guys, they create this stuff. It's all put out there. It's on the internet. We can go and we can look. We can jump YouTube. We can look up videos. We can research, even though suppressions are widely used against us. There's still some narratives out there. If you keep asking the question over and over repeatedly for information, but with different narratives of how you asked it, it will come up. Keep trying. They're bearing simplified ways to locate it, but not bearing all the ways to locate information. So we're revealing the truth, and that helps our agenda. And what are some of the truths in this agenda that we can find and evaluate? Well, this is how we find and evaluate on the internet. This is what disclosure is about, and how much they will give, I don't know. But so many deep projects. MJ12, the Philadelphia Project, which consists of high energy. MK Ultra, which remain hallucinogenic drugs for remote viewing and more. Stargate remote viewing. You have SETI to search. You have Project Shock, extraterrestrials. Project Phoenix, part of the CIA and dimensional programs. Give or take, some and less. It's there, though. Project Blackwing, bioweapons. Imagine that part in the earliest days of where we are now. This is why I'm talking to you this way. And it has nothing to do with the Rockefeller lockstep and whatnot, but it's all narrative in there because it was all being created. It was all being created and looked upon in the deep, dark state. Monies that nobody could account for. Narratives of the wealthy, of the corporation of our country, taking all our tax dollars, hiding so much of it, and playing in their own little playground field. And this was it. This was it. And not to say that some of this wasn't great stuff, okay? It was. Philadelphia Project, Tesla, boom, high energy, Montauk, time travel, and more, okay? Teleportations, so forth like that. The Robinson panel, to hide the truth. So as they're going, you have Project Blue Book, and Project Blue Book comes out and says, we're going to help and figure it out, suppression. All right, let's get the Robinson panel out there to protect us now. Let's do this again and hide suppression and not tell the truth. So as things are developing, and as people were learning, becoming aware, waking up over the last 50 years in this period of awakening and so forth that's going on, and we're in the height of the completion of this thing, and the sun's in the right places, the stars, astrologies, dates, times, people, and names. It's all true. It's all true. I mean, it depends upon how much you want to look into it. I don't care. Maybe you want to look into oddities. Dogmen, Bigfoot, the giants. I mean, hey, again, here. Smithsonian's holding all these bodies. We know that. We know that. All right. And then you have Operation High Jump and so forth, okay? All right. So why do I bring this up? Well, it's a narrative of truth. So, Richard Berg, Admiral, goes up there. He has 4,700 men, 13 ships, 33 aircrafts. He's going up to a place that's kind of like they're wondering, are the Germans up there hiding the Nazis, this breakaway civilization and so forth, taking their technologies? Well, they had word of it because after World War II, we actually joined forces with the Germans, okay? We did. We bring all their best scientists because they blew us out of the park. They had things going on. And I'm sure you know about all that stuff too. I mean, if you paid any type of attention at all, they were geniuses compared to us. We needed them. But we wanted to know more. What was this breakaway situation all about? And, what were their capabilities? Because these were some of the strongest scientists we couldn't get our hands on. And it's a place up there, on the ice pack called New Schwabenland. And so here, they're going to do these several Oh, what the hell's the word? Anyway, they're going to go there several times, is the plan. But they get up there and they start checking things out, and they're finding lands and they're finding places where the ice doesn't only go but so far, and then it turns into more of like what was called like an old tropic but not cold zone. So they're finding these things, and they're finding what's called to be like the center circle into the earth and so forth. And anyway, we got our asses kicked up there. We were nibbing a little too hard. And Admiral Berg said that they had to take on military course actions, which they got their asses kicked, and they came back home and weak, very weak. But the ships that they encountered with just tore our asses apart. Anyway, look into that. These stories are out there. I gave you kind of a infrastructure of what this was about and how this was to go. But let's keep this in mind if we step into 2020, 2019, 2016. Day of the election, John Kerry went up there. And he was with the Russian Pope. The Vatican sends special paperwork. I don't know what they find or what they were all doing up there and how this has all come about. There's many missing years in between, but now we know many unions of nations are up there with flags in place. Just like, the Germans, the breakaways were up there way before anybody. Did they find something under the ice? Did they figure out how to work it? There's so many stories out there about that. It's a very big topic, but it's worth listening to because it is a narrative of things. It tells us things. Who did they meet? Who do we know? Where did this technology come from? Are they bad? Are they good? Are they the satanic ones? And I'll get into even a little bit more of that and the manipulation of other issues that have occurred. So, check that out. See what you think. And I also want to throw this by you. Like many people think Roswell was a one-case scenario, but there was actually 7 crafts downed, which supposedly a pulse radar system saw these crafts coming into the atmosphere. And I don't know what it did somehow. Technology on that part I couldn't answer for you. But they send out some type of beam wave. Microwave thing, and it distorted the energy of the ships, killed them somehow, and they started to drop. And it was a discovery of like, wow, check this out, it works. Yeah, it works so well, it brought a bunch of them down. And just keep that out there because this tells us and where and how the strengths of the deep state we grow and where they would come from and how all that fits into the puzzle. Right now, why am I talking about this? To get back to that part of it. Disclosure, a big, huge chunk of what many of us want to know about. But what we want to know about right now, this is so deep, satanic, and dark. What are we answering to? Who are they answering to? What are we fighting against? Is it really all people? Or is it a dark, satanic, something more? Dimensional beings? Who did they make contact with? Why do I say that? Because of the projects here. Because of everything we've been involved in. We had projects that got into all these areas. We did. We were sending signals out. Things have been going on forever. Why are you doing it unless you know why you're doing it or you're looking for more? And you're trying to analyze it. Had they analyzed it? I don't know. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Because there's a lot on it. There truly is. I'll give you a little bit of a thing here. In 1952, and right over our own White House, appeared for several days a fleet of saucers. Yeah, I know. Wow, really? No, that's all. No, it's not. It's not theory. It's said to be true. Just like the war over Los Angeles, where thousands of people witnessed, our military firing rockets at this mothership or whatever, and it was described as one, very huge. And our missiles did nothing. We went over 1,000, 1,200 missiles, hitting it dead on and so forth, and we could not even wake this thing up. It just like laughed in our face. And now you have in 1952 the issue of repetitive days where this had occurred, and as soon as our planes, our fighter jets came in, what we had the capabilities of, the strongest, the fastest, the best, they humiliated our technology. They just humiliated it. Jumped in 1953. Says a little bit more here. President Eisenhower learns of contact. How exactly, I don't know, but I would think that there was some indications of information given by his predecessor to him, is the former president, and information somewhat explained to Eisenhower. On February 20th, 1954, in New Mexico, at a remote Air Force base called Holloman Air Force Base, at the end of the tarmac, 3 UFO crafts came in, all under video footage. The whole awareness of the Air Force Base knew that his plane landed, and they're like, wow, this don't make sense. This is where this gets a little weird, but true. Anytime a president comes into a base, there's a welcoming committee. There's the band. There's all this. It's a formality. It goes on. None of that was done. None of that was done. So anyway, the story goes is that he was there. He checked this out. He actually boarded not planes, but crafts. Was shown them. Deals were struck, and to go one step further, I don't know which period of time of which meeting it was there, but there was something that took place of great magnitude that we found out later. That and I believe even his granddaughter is now on the air and does shows and whatnot, and even talks about this scenario. Laura Eisenhower, she's out there. She's one of us, and she has a different narrative of astrology and different things of who she is, but she doesn't forget these stories or her family. And basically, we signed a treaty with something of who? Described as tall humanoids with small, little, gray, black eye, kind of the grays. We call them the grays. And a treaty was signed where they could do certain things. We knew we couldn't do anything about it regardless. And they said there will be peace. We'll share technology with you. And all we want is some exchange of little experiments with people. Yeah. Not a lie. Not a lie. Check all this stuff out. Okay, so this all supposedly happens. And we know about his going MIA on this particular day as well. We know about it. It was called the dental emergency and so forth, that he needed to get away and to do this, and that. And this was the way the secret meeting was done to get him there in Mexico and do this thing. Because he was actually on vacation and they claimed it as a dental issue. So that all being hidden, and you have 500 men on a military base taking photographs secretly. Military people there doing official videotapes of the incomings of them and their exits, leaving in the crafts. I believe there was an exchange of one craft granted to us. Again, I would say to you that history is out there, information's out there. Please look into this. Why am I doing this? But disclosure is important right now. Part of disclosure is going to give you the narrative as to who the possibility is or possibilities are of what we're dealing with that we don't actually physically always see. Is it interdimensional? Are they coming from another world to us? The bottom line is I think it's both. I think we make contacts on two sides here. They didn't make that thing, up there trying to figure out the particle God and all this stuff for nothing. And we know what has come from that. Do some research on it yourself. You'll find out. But yeah, so you have these deep state projects. They all, with clarity, fit into each other in narratives of where the suppression is, where the money has been hidden, stolen, taken from the government, people, and the taxes, and the budget. So when the budget doesn't meet, the budget doesn't meet. And we all know what happened on that. A few days before 9/11, Rumsfeld makes an announcement. We can't account for all this money. And boom, 9/11 happens. And what a mystery that was, which now there is a secret investigation going on into that by the White Hats, the good people. So I think much may come out of that. And it's all going to take a long time for this all to feed out and for history to be rewritten or exposed. Or, let's face it, in some cases, it could just all be true. Things that just happen. But we won't know it until we get clarify it, can get clarification to it. So here you have all these things going on. I'm going to take you a step further. It puts a little more icing on the cake. Phil Schneider, a government structural engineer, geologist. His job was to make paths for tunnels for what was called, this is many years ago, this is just coming out now, like they're just getting into this development. But the truth is, this has been developed for years. It goes from military base to other installations, but it's a mag lift transportation system. And yes, we had it, and we have it. Story from Phil is who became a leaker, went out. He was actually killed. We think. Well, I'll say he's dead, but theorists are saying that things had occurred, and there's much in question about his mysterious death, as we know that there's mysterious deaths tied into many people if you're on the wrong side. But his job was to go there, drill down, make cores, do samples, and guide these boring machines through, okay? Nuclear boring machines and whatnot to make these tunnels and so forth for this transit system. They go down into this, okay, and they hit a hurdle, and they don't understand what it is. And then they hit a vault, like an opening. So they get in this basket crane, and he goes in with a military guy, and they go down into this, through this hole. You know, how they rescued the miners and so forth. When things happen, they drill down, they put a cage, they bring them up in it when they find the opening. And you know that happens, so you know that this kind of stuff's true. Okay? They can't work out like that. So anyway, he goes down, and they hit bottom. And his story is very, very interesting. He's no longer with us, but it's out there, and you're not going to find it. You have to really try to research it, unless you just get lucky and it pops up, because Google does try to suppress this particular story as well. His name, again, is Phil Schneider, the Phil Schneider story. But his story is that he went down into this, and they got down into this deep whatever, where I guess they were planning on going. They hit bottom. They open up, and then in front of them are alien beings. That's what is described, okay? That is what's described. Something in suits of a physical something going on. People draw guns. Shooting starts to occur. There's a lot of going on. Don't know exactly, don't remember exactly what type of alien beings they were. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm reflecting into a story that I know of and how these narratives fit together in many ways. So I'm just trying to bring this into your light. When he would come out and do leaks and talk to people and do interviews, as well as stand and do what's the word? Like I do it. I'm asked to do it for 4th of July in a couple ways, to come out and talk. Oh, anyway, so he shows up and he talks to people, lectures them, and so forth. And basically, he gave his story. And he shows his hand, where he said they used some type of weaponry on him where it just melted his fingers right off his hand. You can see these type of things wrong with him, where his whole side, he was badly injured in this something of a fight that ensued. Our military did go down there, did have to go in. They had to call people. Evidently, there's alliances between the government, and there was an accidental meeting that turned into a very bad situation. The military guy who went in the cage with him to go down, for whatever reason, they had to do this procedure. If somebody went into a hole, military went in with them. I don't know. But he was killed in protecting Phil Schneider. That's how Phil Schneider got out and was able to talk about a lot of things to a lot of people and us. So here you have a repetitious scenario. What is down there? What is evil? In tunnels, okay? We have machines. We're making them. Then you have a 2-year program in 2021 that's set up between all these different countries, where it's called the 2-year tunnel drill. And they were combinating, which I feel is the Khazar, which is the satanic part of the HST, HT, and CT, the little people. You understand, the child, okay? And so that part fits that narrative. But who actually are we fighting here? Are we really fighting people? Or have they figured out through all of this, all of these projects, some way to connect to something else that we don't understand? And I'm trying to grasp that part of all of this, because to me, they're in their final days of weakness. They're grasping at straws. They truly are. They're losing strength. They're losing power. They're losing their money. They're losing their credibility to put the money and feed money into an oil machine, because a new banking financial system is out there pushing them back off. If you can't get your money into the system, you're dead with what you have. You can't use anything. What you had means nothing no more. And what our government has done is taking over a lot of places, closed them down, made the White House a certain military tribunal situation system. People aren't even in the White House. Half the time, they're not even in the Capitol. And I think a lot is being suppressed from a lot of sides. So that was a way of putting disclosure into a narrative of who are we really fighting? This is just so bizarre. What is leading their mental thought, trains of thought, outside of the fact that we know that they've been doing this for many years? It's something that they have all been involved with. But what did they come in contact with along the way? Is there a possibility that there is something there? I don't know. But what we do know is we have books. Books are good, books are bad. They use theirs, we use ours. We have light, we have dark, and this is the battle. This is somewhat of the battle. So, you have the deep state and the cabal. It's all pretty much all of one, I guess, in ways. But I want to just say this. Phil did make predictions in many ways to tie us into this same narrative now as many others have. So we have some things in the dark that is now in place. But it's for the better. You see it as the worst. Things have been shut down or off, back and on, for short periods of time. That's all for the good. Sometimes only 45 minutes or less, but it happens. Many do not know why. It all means something. Stay awake. It's dark. There is control. The pedophiles are trying everything to throw things any way they can at us with their narratives, but we have strength in numbers and they do not. Whether things happen for 45 minutes or 4 to 5 days of light, warp speed, no turning back. You stand strong. Don't fall back. Never fall weak. And that's a wrap. I hope it made a little bit of sense to you. It's just a narrative. Fits disclosure. We're in that month. We're in that 180-day time term of agreement. Could it mean anything? I don't know. Does it still mean? Hey, I know one thing. Seeing's believing. Okay? And I know seeing is believing. So I'll just say it to you that way. So I'm all in. I can't wait to figure out what all this really is and who these people nail to. I'm not one that will nail to them. And I believe Trump's greatest walk was calling them out with the book of good, saying we are at war. I hope some of these narratives, some of these things that have occurred, hey, they're front page news. They really are. They hide a lot on you. They've hidden a lot. Some people just weren't aware. Some people never had a clue. Some people were awake, living in a different, as they say, higher consciousness. Some are on a lower level, and that's why we have the anxiety issues in the greatest numbers that America's ever had. So I hope you enjoyed this Thursday. Got some interest out of it, Check out some of these programs that, I mentioned. I know, April, if you see this, you will. I know you will. So, guys, thank you for your day. Thank you for your time. I'll do what I can to be with you here on Friday night, weekend review, and I hope we can talk more. Do the best you can. Stay healthy. Keep your immune system always positive. Get some sun. Love your family. Love yourself first. Don't be pushed. Don't be pushed. Don't let this narrative of America get you down. We are in a good position right now. I'll just say that much to you. And my last statement, if you need to re-listen to it a couple of times, please do. It was done a certain way. I hope it was enlightening for you, and I hope you get it. I hope you get it. It's positive. Don't judge me. I won't judge you. Thank you. I am Michael Anthony, 10 O'Clock Talks. This is Waking Up, Monday through Thursday. See me here.